Hey, what it do, y'all? It's your boy E2 Blue coming back at you. And tomorrow's draft day. And just a couple of things to talk about before the draft. Now, before I even get into the video or talk about this draft that ensues tomorrow, and it came fast because pause. Um, it just feels like this off season. Well, the off season started off slow. Now it's everything's starting to move. Everything's starting to move and shake. There was a Gilly signing in the building yesterday. During the pre-draft press conference, Gilly was walking through the star, and I just feel like the everybody that was reporting it tried to downplay it, like, oh well, he's just there to come on now. What he there to do? Obviously, to do a physical or something like that. Because why else would he be there? 'Cause I heard people say, "Oh, he was probably there to talk to somebody about some business venture." Blah blah blah. Come on, come on. Not at the Star. I can see if he was just somewhere in the area, then that'd be different. But at the Cowboys facility, no, no, yeah. Jerry Jones probably was like, "Hey, come in here, do a physical. Let's get right, and we'll see what you're looking like. And if we don't get the cornerbacks that we want in the draft, or if we still need some cornerback depth, we'll sign you." I feel like they should have been signed Gilly. I would have loved to have him back. They should have never let him go in the first place. They should have re-signed him the last time, but that was probably because Mike Zimmer probably didn't want him. But it is what it is. He gone. Eberflus is in. It's a new regime now. And speaking of new regime, Micah Parsons, we know his contract is still at a standstill. What else is new with the Dallas Cowboys? But he said something very interesting about that. Excuse me, about that beef with him and Demarcus Lawrence. Demarcus Lawrence is now gone, right? So it is what it is. Water over the bridge, right? Micah's talking about a new age, a new regime. We're starting fresh. We're focused on the guys that we have here now. We're establishing a new culture with head coach Brian Schottenheimer, new coaching staff. Period. I mean, the fact that Lunda Wells is the only carryover from the last regime lets you know something. So, with that being said, it's a new day, it's a new culture, and Micah says, "Hey, this is my room now, and the guys here around me, we're focused on trying to get this team better and get back to the glory." Wonderful. I love that. I love the fact that he's taking initiative and taking leadership. The fact that he was there at OTAs. Like last season, he was doing all this other crazy stuff, sumo wrestling and stuff, and all that other crap, hanging out with other teams, quarterbacks and stuff like that. He's focused now, and I like that. I like that. I feel like Micah's maturing, and that's normally what happens as you start to age in the NFL. Now, going forward into this draft tomorrow, there's a lot of talks about some people talking about Cowboys getting it. We know that trenches win games. We know that. But you don't have to win a Super Bowl with all pros all on your line. This ain't how the 90s was with the Cowboys, where you had that Hall of Fame line and things of that nature. But even with them, they weren't all first round draft picks either. They were just good, decent players that did their job. The Eagles, I mean, they only have one first rounder on their line, and that's Lane Johnson. That's it. Because Peter's retired. He ain't there no more. Jason Peter's gone. He been gone. He done came with us, and then he left, and he gone. So, they had other guys that stepped up and did their job on that offensive line. I think the Cowboys now have capable offensive linemen. I like the maturation of TJ Bass. I like Brock Hoffman. We have young guys that can fit the bill. The only young guy that I'm questioning about is Guyton. Outside of Guyton, and I think a lot of it is just with his footwork. And I think that, and him not dipping low enough because he's kind of tall. So he needs to bend a little bit and get his angles right so he can, get those blocks head on. Now, Vash Lombardi is probably better. We're talking about these offensive linemen because he played that position, but I know that leverage matters. So all that is technique, right? And he can learn that. But I feel like it needs to be in house. Mike Solari, when we had him last year, he's an old school type of offensive line coach. He's not going to teach the young guys that. But I think with the young offensive line coach that we have now, coming from the collegiate rankings can help benefit, coming from Kansas and helping with him. I think it will be perfect. Riley helping him is going to be perfect. He was Cooper Beebe's offensive line coach when he was there. So now he comes to Dallas. He's got Cooper Beebe again. So I just think that it's going to be a good thing with this offensive line. I just really don't think that we need to draft that in the first round. You can get, and those of you that saw my mock draft the other day, I grabbed one in my mock draft, and it was a guy that's a real strong guy. He reminds me of Cooper Beebe. But I really just think that you don't need to get one in the first round. Get some help on offense. Help Dak. We need running back. We need a second wide receiver. I hear some fans talking about why can't we just do what we have with the wide receivers we have? Not saying that they can't do it, but I just think that you need somebody that's going to be a little better than what we have. We don't know what we have with Mingo because he hasn't got a chance to play with Dak yet. Pause. A lot of people are down on Tolbert. Everybody's up and down on Tolbert. So we really don't know what Tolbert is at this point. I know that he can be a third or fourth, but I don't think he can be a consistent number 2 wide receiver. I do agree with that part. But they signed Turpin to a 3-year contract, which shows you that they're going to utilize him more than just kick and punt returns. He's going to be more than just a dynamic returner. They're going to use him in that offense, which they should have been doing before. But, with the old regime, they had old philosophies, and I'm glad that that's over with. Now, going into this draft tomorrow, and I will talk more about this on the live stream tomorrow before we get into the draft. Understand that we need some skill positions right now, and there's a lot of talent there on both the offense and defensive side of the field. We have right now on the roster, I think, like 18 offensive linemen. You don't really need to draft an offensive lineman right now. Pick and choose some from the guys that you have. See who can battle it out in training camp. Because we got some talent there. And some of these guys are former first-round picks. So, even some of the guys that we got in the free agency, they might still have something left in the tank. You never know. And like I said, with this new coaching staff and them being guys mostly coming from the college ranks, I think it's going to help these guys. Even some of the grizzled veterans. So, I just look at it that way. I want us to focus on the task at hand, right? It's funny because somebody made a comment about, the Cowboys are picking 12th in the draft. Now everybody wants to talk about them moving back. But Cowboys normally consistently make the playoffs, so we're always picking 17, 20, 23, and 24. We're normally in that 20 range and picking in the first round. But like this year and from when Zeke got drafted, we had higher draft picks because we weren't good those years. We rarely have bad seasons. But it's funny because when we pick number 20, we always be like, damn, I wish we had a higher draft pick. Let's move up. Now you got a higher draft pick. Now you want to move back. Make up your mind what you want to do. Some people can make the case of, oh, it really depends on how the draft plays. Yes, I agree with that. But ultimately, every draft is deep. But is it deep with what particular players, right? Now, this draft is deep with running backs. We know that. Not so much as defensive tackle. Most of the defensive tackles are closer in the front. We know the Dallas Cowboys needs. I just said them. Running back, defensive tackle, cornerback. Those are the top three, right? Everything else just falls in place. And not exactly in that order. And if you watch my mock draft, I, you know, I don't see them really picking a lot of DBs other than maybe a cornerback or two, but not necessarily a safety unless they get. But but again, undrafted free agency, Cowboys are good at that too, getting the undrafted guys too. They're gonna have the pick of the litter with that, so don't worry about that. Primarily focus on what we need: wide receiver, defensive tackle, cornerback. And I think like you fall into place after that, defensive end. Then you got offensive linemen, things of that nature. So, but let's see what we have, right? Because when you look at the offensive line, like I said, we have 18 guys. Don't quote me. I feel like we got 18 guys on the list. I got to go back and count how many people are on, how many offensive linemen we got. But we got a lot of offensive linemen right now. So all of them ain't going to make the team. You cutting into a hell of a chunk of your team. I mean, you're only keeping 9 or 10 on the roster. Everybody else is going to be either not cut or put on a practice squad. So, pick your poison there. But let me know your level of excitement about the draft tomorrow evening. I know that, it's been a long time coming, and we are excited about what the selection is going to be for number one. Now, we're talking about trade scenarios, right? Jerry came out in a press conference saying that there's a possibility they could trade back. Now, what are you trading back for or to get, right? Because we know that Omarion Hampton is what they say that is too rich for 12. Okay. But even if he's in the back half of the first round, we don't pick there. So by the time we pick again at 44, he more than likely won't be there. Who will be there when you pick? I explained on Monday that Ashton Genty probably won't be there for us because I feel like he won't go past the Jaguars or the Raiders. One of them is going to pick him. And if they don't, I'm like, are y'all smoking? Because y'all, that's crazy. Hell, even the Titans may want to get Ashton Genty. We don't know because they lost. They don't have Derrick Henry anymore, and they need a bruiser to help with what they lost with that, to help out Tony Pollard over there. Shout out to Tony Pollard. I miss Tony Pollard, but he's over there with the Titans. They may get Ashton Genty to pair up with him. The Patriots may pick him. The Jaguars need a running back. They may get him. So I mean, there's so many different scenarios. We don't know who's gonna get what. This is why I said that Dallas Cowboys need to shut up, stop talking to the media about what they think we're going to do. And I know a lot of it is probably a smoke screen, and I get it. But let it go. Let it go. Let it go. You don't hear no other teams talking? Stop giving up your strategy. Shut up. Shut up. Don't say nothing. Damn, can we just go off season without no drama? Like, it's crazy. But, it's the day in the life of being a Cowboy fan, right? You're gonna live and die with it, right? But like I said, I am excited about tomorrow, first round of the draft, to see who the Cowboys pick. Now, question, and put it in the chat. What would make you throw your pen? What would make you upset as a first round draft pick selection? Let me know in the chat. Like, share, subscribe to the channel. Tell all your friends about your boy. I'm trying to get back into the algorithm so we can get this thing popping. Your boy is back. I'm trying to, regrow my channel because I lost so much. Y'all don't know. Your boy been through a lot. So I'm trying to rebuild. But with that being said, man, again, like, share, subscribe to the channel. It's your boy E2 Blue. Always keeping it real. See y'all tomorrow for the draft. Peace.